Jonathan here, and welcome back as we're about to enter into our next room, mid-passage. So we got a recap here of what happened last video. Looks like we had bad and good times for both our heroes. Yvette, the gunslinger, she took a lot of sanity damage in both the pile of bones and the massacre card. But luckily enough, she was next to Shawna, and Shawna's comforting presence healed her of 3 wounds and 1 sanity. Yvette, she ended up finding this dark black purplish stone, which from the information from the local town, she identified it as one of those dark stones. So it looks like the rumors of this mine containing dark stone, it looks like it's going to become true. Shawna, she ended up taking a lot of sanity damage both from the piles of bones and the massacre card. Luckily enough, her agility that she made, she ended up finding this medium box full of gold nuggets for roughly about $300 worth. But then her scavenging skills weren't that good, as several times she didn't find anything, but then she ended up finding this gnarled hand that contained a couple bandages. So the bandage tokens that she got, she put those into her side bag, and as you remember, the side bag says that they can have a limit of 5 tokens. Now in the game, a token is not a token is not a token, because we have grit and scavenge and darkstone tokens, but actually the tokens that they're talking about are located in the rulebook on page 35 in the section reference summary, subsection side bag tokens. So there's a list of side bag tokens there: the bandage, whiskey, dynamite, herbs, tonic, and flash. So those are the tokens that are actually limited to 5 tokens in the side bag. And another way you can tell which tokens go in the side bag are the ones with the green title bar behind the token's name. So let's go ahead and start up as we enter into our next room, mid-passage. We're at the beginning of the turn, and step 1, hold back the darkness. So Shawna's going to go ahead and grab her 2d6 and give them a roll to see if she holds back the darkness. Oh, a 5. So Shawna does not hold back the darkness as it moves up to space 3, getting closer to the mine entrance. Alright, we move on to step 2. Models activate in initiative order. So our gunslinger is up first because she has a higher initiative. And the 2 actions are movement and searching. But now remember, with the massacre card, it says when you're on the map tile, and since she's on the split, which puts her on the mining lift and mid-passage, she's got to go ahead and roll to see if she takes the horror hit. So she has a willpower 4+, and we'll see if she makes it. Oh, and she does not make it. So Yvette is going to take sanity damage. Now she's going to go ahead and do her movement. Okay, a 2. So 1, 2. Alright, and next is searching. So scavenging or looking through a door, and since she is not at the end of the tile, she cannot look through the door, so she's going to scavenge. Roll 3d6. Oh, nice! Gets a 5, a 6, and a 6. Very good, very good. So we go ahead and we grab the scavenge deck. And since she rolled 2 6s, we draw 2 cards right off the bat. So useful discovery for 10 XP, scavenge. Pulling it from the gnarled hand of a dead body, you find something of value in this forsaken place. Draw a gear card. Excellent. Then our other scavenge card is small find. It's worth 10 XP, scavenge. You find a small scattering of coins stained with blood, and that's worth $25. Okay, so we've got to go ahead and draw a gear card, and also got to put the scavenge token on that tile to represent that it's been scavenged. Okay, we got a gear card. So we get our gear deck, draw it, and we get an axe. So the keywords are gear, hand weapon. Once per turn, you may add +2 damage to one of your combat hits. And now it's got a black icon here. It's got 2 upgrade slots. It's a one-handed weapon. It's worth $200. But Yvette says, you know what? I got my trusty pistol that I use. I don't need an axe. Shawna, you need an axe? She's like, yep, I can use that. So we're going to go ahead and give this to Shawna. Now on this card, it's got that black icon. It's called a weight icon, and you can find it in the rule book on page 18 in the section Limits, subsection Weight and Carrying Limits. And what it is that each hero can carry up to 5 plus their strength score in weight. So we go ahead and look at the Saloon Girl's character sheet, and you can see that her strength score is a 1, so she can carry up to 6 of those weight icons. And then the Gunslinger, her strength score is a 2, so she can carry up to 7 of those weight icons. Okay, we go ahead. Next one up is Shawna. So she's got to go ahead and do the massacre because she is on the split on both of the tiles. So she needs to roll a 4+ of her willpower. She gets a 5, so she does not get scared from all that gore that's behind her. She's like, I need to get out of here. Go, 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 go. All right, now she's going to go ahead and do her movement. All right. And she gets a 1. All right, very good. She gets a grit. So there's our grit that she got. We'll put that next to her character sheet. Now, in regards to the grit that she got, now during earlier videos, I've talked about having to roll movement dice, even though our heroes would not even move. So why is that? Well, as you see, there's a chance that you're going to roll a 1 on your movement, and you're going to end up getting a grit. Okay, so what is a grit? Well, in the rule book, they state it allows heroes to be heroic. So for grit, the information's in the rule book on page 7 in the section Grit. Now, there's 3 ways that you can use a grit. One is to reroll any number of dice that you, the hero, just rolled. Next way is to use 1 grit to add an extra d6 to your movement. But if you roll a 1 on that d6, you don't get to get a grit for this roll because it was an extra movement, not a move roll. And then the last one is using the grit to activate a special ability or item that requires it. So our Gunslinger, she's got the starting upgrade, okay? And it's called pistol fanning. As you can see, she uses 1 grit to double the number of shots. So that's how you can use one of the grits, is with one of your starting upgrades. Now there is reroll limits that by using another grit or ability, you cannot use another grit to reroll the same dice. So if you didn't attack and you didn't like those numbers and you used a grit to reroll them, and if you got even worse numbers, you would have to live with that. You cannot use another grit to reroll those numbers. To recover grit, now most common ways are, as you see right here, is by rolling a 1. Now there are certain cards that will let you recover grits. So first of all, we have the U.S. Marshal. His starting upgrade is Rolling Thunder, and this says that you may recover a grit on a D-roll of 4, 5, or 6. Then we have a gear card called Rune of the Void. For a bonus, you recover 1 grit and gain 25 XP anytime you pass through a gate. And our final example here is a personal item. A worn eye patch. It says once per adventure, recover grit up to your max grit. So depending on how you build your character is how you might want to be getting certain cards or something to get more grit. In the case of our Gunslinger, she's going to be using grit to double the number of shots that she's going to do. So she's going to be wanting to accumulate more and more grits. But there is a max grit that you can get. Saloon Girl Shawna, in the lower left-hand corner, it says max grit 2. Now if there's something out there that's going to increase that, then she'll be able to get 3 or 4 grit, but at the moment she can only have a maximum of 2. Now if for some reason she has 2 grit at the moment, and she rolls a 1 like she did, so she got another grit, then she's going to have to use that grit to do one of the 3 examples of using the grit, or otherwise she's just going to end up losing that grit. Okay, so she did roll that 1 for movement, so she gets to move that 1. And then we go to her second part, which is searching. Well, she can't scavenge because they already scavenged the tile, and she can't look through the door because she's not at the end of the tile to look through the door. So our scavenge cards that we had, you got to remember that you need to go ahead and put them back and shuffle them back into the scavenge deck. You do not discard them. Okay, so now we move on to step 3, room exploration. Well, there is no exploration token on the board because, as you see here on mid-passage, it says no exploration token. So we go ahead and just bypass step 3. Now we go to step 4, end of the turn. So there's no cards out there that says anything, and since our hero, the Gunslinger, is adjacent to the Saloon Girl gets to use her comforting presence, and she's going to heal up one of the sanity damages off of Yvette. So that's going to end step 4, which ends the turn. Now we go back to the beginning, and step 1, hold back the darkness. So to make this easier, before we continue with that, because we're not on the mining lift tile, is where the massacre occurred, then we go ahead and we remove this because we're not on that map tile. Because in the definition it says, hero starts in or enters a space of this map tile. So they're no longer on that map tile, so we'll just go ahead and we'll discard the card because it's an encounter card. And now Shawna is going to hold back the darkness. Oh, and she gets a 3. So she fails holding back the darkness, and our darkness marker moves up. And you can see that on space 4 there's a blood spatter. So that means that they have to draw a darkness card. Get the darkness deck, and we have Whispering Voices. The keyword are darkness and insanity. He knows you are here. Come join us. Each hero takes d6 horror hits. Also, one random hero must pass a Spirit 4+ test or immediately roll once on the Madness table. Alright, so we'll put that there. Okay, so our Gunslinger, so Yvette, she's going to roll a d6 for horror hits. She gets a 3. So she's going to end up taking 3 horror hits. She's got to go against her willpower, which is a 4+. 5, 5, 5. Excellent. So she does not get any kind of sanity damage. And then Shawna, the Saloon Girl, she's going to take d6 horror hits. She takes 2. She needs a 4+ for her willpower save. 6 and a 3. Oh, so she failed 1. So she takes 1 sanity damage. Then we look at it and it says, one random hero must pass the Spirit 4+ test. Okay, so random hero will take a d6, and on an odd, the Gunslinger is going to get it. And odd it is. So Yvette is going to have to do a Spirit test. So we look at her character sheet, there's Spirit, and it says a 2. So she has to roll 2d6, and she has to get 4 or better to succeed. Oh, 2 and 2. Okay, so Yvette does not succeed. Now, even though she rolled doubles, now that's kind of like holding back the darkness where you go to the depth event chart, but nothing like that happens with doing skill checks or anything like that. So she just basically got 2 and 2, so she failed them. So now it says, or immediately roll once on the madness table. Okay, so we go ahead, and there's a chart which is double-sided. So the first side is injury chart. So this one refers to the wounds that you get. So if there's an issue with wounds and it tells you to roll on the injury chart, you'll roll it on this one. But in our case, because of the horror hits and sanity, we're going to roll against the madness chart. So we go ahead and we roll 2d6, and then we just go ahead and find the number, and we do what it says. So let's see what Yvette gets for going crazy and mad. 7. Okay, so it says 7. Open to the void. You feel the ebb and flow of the void energy all around you, seeping into your mind and clawing at your deepest fears. You no longer get a willpower save to prevent corruption hits. So whatever corruption hits are, we'll go ahead and find out about that when we get to it. But at the moment, she's got void energy going inside her, making her feel all funky. Okay, so that's going to complete that. It was a darkness card, so we go ahead and discard that. And now we go on to step 2, models activate in initiative order. Yvette is up first. She's going to go ahead and move. She doesn't have to do massacre anymore. So she does a movement. She gets a 2. So 1, 2. So she's at the end. Now she's going to either scavenge or look through the door. But she's already scavenged a token, so she can look through the door. But Shawna yells at her and says, no, 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 hold on, wait for me, wait for me. So she's going to go ahead and just skip her second action. And now it is Shawna's turn. So Shawna's going to go ahead and do her movement. She gets a 4. 1, 2, 3, and she's now at the end of the tile. So now she can go ahead and do the second part of the action of searching and looking through a door. So now we go ahead and we take the map deck for the mind. And remember, there's our reminder that says we have to advance the hero posse marker 1 space because we're going to be going into our next room. And we end up getting a rail tunnel. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll move our marker there to the next one. And then let's go ahead and find a rail tunnel. Okay, so here we go. We got a rail tunnel. And you can see it's in the mines, a rail tunnel. And roll a d6. 1 to 3 will be our door. 4 to 6 will be the door. And then here's the green arrow, which is right here. And that will go to the entrance, and that will go to the exit of the tile that they are on. So once again, we try to put the tile down, and it's going to be all over the place. So we're going to have to do some movement here. And there we go. So now we are on the next tile, which is a rail tunnel. And we're still also on mid-passage. And because we placed down a new tile, we have to go ahead and get an exploration token. So we go and take this token, and we put it right down on the new map tile. And now we go to step 3, room exploration. So we're going to go ahead and stop the video here as our heroes are ready to enter into our next room. And what does the token exploration have to offer for us? So tune in next video as we enter into the next room, a rail tunnel.